I remember 1956, the year of the Melbourne Olympics. I was still a boy then. I remember listening on the radio to reports from the Olympic Games in Melbourne. And somehow it caught my attention so strongly that I decided to become an athlete. At that time, I didn't even know there was such a profession as a coach. But when I started training seriously, I entered the Institute of Physical Education in Kiev. I graduated successfully. During my service in the Army, I was already training at a more professional level. In 1971, I was among the top 10 best juniors of the Soviet Union. In 1973, I achieved the best result in Ukraine in the 10-kilometer race walk. In 1974, I again had the best result in Ukraine and the second best in the Soviet Union. In the entire history of race walking in the world, this is confirmed by official statistics where my name appears. But circumstances forced me to end my active career as an athlete. I have already spoken about this in other sources, so I will not go into detail. When I began working as a coach, I realized that the knowledge my mentors had given me at the Institute of Physical Education did not always produce the expected results. So I started searching. I kept searching, and eventually I met a talented young athlete, Anatoly Hrushkov, who became the winner of the Spartakiad of Nations of the Soviet Union in 1983. He also won the World Cup and the Union Cup. According to the results of that year, I was recognized as the best coach of the Soviet Union in the 20-kilometer race walk. The following year was the Olympic Games in Los Angeles in the United States. But for political reasons, we did not attend. It was a political decision, and it was very damaging for sport. Since everything had worked out so well the previous year, and the athlete had performed brilliantly, we decided to repeat the same training approach. At that time, however, I was a strict materialist. I denied everything that could not be measured directly. When one athlete, Lysenko Oleksandrov, who is now a well-known doctor of sports and a world champion, told me that the result depended on a monthly cycle, I dismissed it. I told him it was nonsense and that we simply needed to train harder. But when I began to analyze the data carefully, I discovered that there truly was a monthly pattern. And then something unexpected happened. My daughter came home from school and said, "Did you know that Tara's father is an astronomer?" I immediately ran to the parents' meeting, found this astronomer, approached him, and started explaining that there was this monthly cycle and that I needed certain calculations. He asked, "What exactly do you need?" I said I needed to make specific calculations and that, in general, I wanted to explore this seriously. He laughed. He is a highly respected specialist, especially now, specializing in asteroids. I asked him if he could do these calculations for me. He helped once or twice, and then for another 10 years I kept returning to him. He corrected my work, adjusted my calculations, and guided me through the process. Later, he introduced me to Lev Mykolaievich Karachko, a very strong specialist at the University Observatory. I went to him and explained everything. We had mutual acquaintances, including the coach who had trained him, the well-known Ivan Mikhailovich Tokar. This astronomer, a specialist in solar studies, had also been an athlete himself and used to run 1.5 kilometers. In short, We became close colleagues and good friends. If I skip ahead many years, what do I have now compared to where I started? Alongside studying the influence of the sun on sports performance, I became interested in the influence of monthly rhythms on human compatibility. Then I explored the influence of solar cycles on nutrition within a monthly rhythm. After that, I began examining statistics related to deaths, heart attacks, and strokes. All of this I have studied over nearly a quarter of a century. What is the result? Today I clearly understand how to calculate compatibility between people, how well they match. There are 7 key parameters. In recent years, my son Alexander has also joined this work. He is a master of sports and was a champion of Ukraine in his youth in long-distance race walking. Now he's fully involved in this research. Interestingly, years ago he used to say that all of this was nonsense. Today we work together. I continue developing my direction, and he is focused on compatibility between people and the calculation of compatible birth dates. This is a very promising field. If we use the old terminology, we would say it has national economic significance. Why? Because compatible people are productive. They are more successful. They build stronger families. And in the workplace, this direction has enormous potential. In this short video, I want to say that we have created a website. On this website, there is very strong and powerful information. And if you, dear viewers, truly understand it, you'll be 40 years ahead of where I once was. The knowledge that my son now has, I spent almost 40 years gaining it. Since 1984, I have been continuously studying, and I cannot stop because it is incredibly interesting. God bless you people. Look, listen, learn. What you will see on this website is the future. And here's one more important story. Half a year ago, my son and I visited the same astronomer who, back in the mid-90s, laughed and said that none of this was serious. He questioned the ambition behind it. This time, when we met again, I told him what I have achieved, what I have calculated, what I can now determine. I explained how it is possible to identify periods of increased risk in a person's life when there may be danger of a stroke or a heart attack, in which months, on which days of the year, and even during which years of life. He looked at me carefully and said, "All of this is a Nobel Prize." Of course, I was very pleased. I told him, "Yes, I understand. But think about how many years it has taken. More than 4 decades of research and work. So people watch. Follow. We will do everything we can to help you. This system works.